Hi, friends. It's Liza. If your feed feels like a never-ending scroll of people's wins in life, it's super easy to compare yourself and look at yourself in your hoodie and sweatpants and all the stains on your t-shirts and be like, what am I doing with my life? And I think in a transient city like the Springs, you're inundated with people's celebrations like graduation pictures, engagements, hikes to summits, new job posts are everywhere. So it's like super easy to start hustling for worth. So today we're going to kind of talk about the everyone's doing great except for me mentality. Nice. And I know that everyone at some point in their life has felt that. I certainly feel it almost every day. And so we're just going to kind of name that pressure and invite Jesus into it. Kind of get super practical about these rhythms of life and honest community. So I am your host, Liza. Welcome back to the Light and Life podcast. Here again with Pastor Tim.
Hey, Liza.
Hey.
I
am so super excited about this topic. Because I think, as a pastor, you have people coming to you all the time with their life questions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
One of them being, I feel behind in life. What is, pastorally speaking, what would be like the honest first thing you'd say to this person who feels behind? Someone like me.
I would say wash your t-shirt.
Of the stains, of the spaghetti stains.
Yep. If you don't like wearing a hoodie, wear something else. Take a walk, eat some broccoli, move on.
Okay.
All right.
There
Good
it
episode.
Is. I think we can call it there, folks.
No, absolutely. Like, people, I think, who is there that doesn't feel like they've missed the boat? Like, who doesn't feel like somebody else is getting a better deal? They got in the faster lane. They got, like, how did it happen? Why are they so far ahead of me? Mm-hmm. Why does the sun shine on them and I'm sitting in the rain? Yeah, we all go through those times, and in fact, I think it's an almost constant part of life, and to try to find our way from what we are missing to, and this is the end and the beginning. Try to move from what we're missing to what we have and why we're grateful for it.
Yeah,
and the psalm that the Lord has laid the lines in good places. The Lord has set the boundaries of my life in good places for me to really get to that place of contentment. That's where the scripture says it's great riches. Contentment is great riches, it says in Timothy. And well, where have you missed the boat? You're half my age, so probably nowhere. But I could name like 3 or 4 places where it feels like I look back and I'm like, oh, I totally should have done that.
I think I've missed the boat, and I know this is not logical. Okay, I'm claiming it. Everyone tells me, "Oh, Liza, you're so young." But I grew up in the South. Everyone goes to college, gets their MRS degree.
Yeah.
I'm 27 years old.
Ring by spring.
I'm the second of 4 girls, outside of my step-siblings, of 4 girls in my family, and I'm the only single one.
Okay.
My younger sister has 2 children.
Yeah.
And my older sister is on her 2nd kid, and I just feel so far away from marriage, and that's something I crave so deeply. So that's one. I think the other thing I feel like I've missed the boat on is just like there's such a gap of people that are my age that are either like doing all the things and they're world explorers and they've traveled to like 50 countries. I feel like I'm missing the boat there.
Yeah.
Too, of like, oh man, maybe I've settled down too quickly in my job and I need to get out and explore more. But then there's other people who are like, oh, Liza, you have it so together. The grass is always greener on the other side.
Other people looking at you and saying, you're so far ahead. Like,
right.
You're so much further down the road than I am.
Mm-hmm. But I'm my younger sister, again, has 2 children.
Yeah.
And I'm so, like, single and not even close to that point of my life, even though it's something I crave so badly. Yeah. It's just not in the cards for Eliza right now. And that's okay. It's tough out there.
Yeah.
But I think the false story.
Anything you want to say, like, to the single guys out there, like anywhere they could DM you, or no? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm a little scared.
No, don't do that.
I'm scared of men. Break your heart.
Yeah. Yeah, we feel behind. We feel like we've missed the boat.
Well, I think the false story that we tell ourselves is like, oh, we're not worth that. Like, I'm not worth having a family, or I'm not worth having this life of, like, beauty and boldness and adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's just so many lies associated with everyone's doing great except for me. And I mean, we know that comparison's the thief of joy.
Yeah,
but it always spirals into other lies.
Yep. Comparison is poison. And yep, the thief of joy. And it causes you to think God is holding out on me. Mm-hmm. God is not good. God blesses so-and-so, and I don't know why, and here I am sitting here just languishing. As there's nothing good in my life.
I know, woe is me.
Yeah, woe is me. You start to pity cycle, and
the victim mentality is so real.
Victim mentality. Yeah. Do you know where I missed the boat?
Hit me.
Whenever I think of this, like, where did I miss the boat? It was about 8 years ago, 7 years ago maybe. Abigail and I were out to dinner with someone who's super wealthy,
okay,
has built and lost and built wealth, and so knows a lot about money. Has, like, people like millionaire, not billionaire, but millionaire, bankrupt. He's one of those sorts of people.
Like, can just get back to it.
Build another business. Like, okay, I did that, it worked for a while. Okay, sold that. Tried this, went bankrupt. Okay, let go of that. Try this. Build another business, off it goes. And we were sitting at dinner and he says, "Have you heard about Bitcoin?" I'm serious. And I was like,
wait, this is so, and I had
heard the word, like, I'd heard the word Bitcoin. I was like, yeah, I've heard the word Bitcoin. Like, and he's like, well, this is really gonna happen. And you should think about investing in Bitcoin. Do you know how much Bitcoin was worth when he said that?
Probably nothing, and now it's worth like $170,000.
It was worth
one Bitcoin.
$19,000 per Bitcoin.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm not buying a Bitcoin. $19,000?
Yeah.
Like, come on. And I'm not buying half a Bitcoin. I'm not buying and I don't even know how to buy half a Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bitcoin now is like 120. And there's some guy driving around town in a Tesla whose license plate says Bitcoin. And whenever I see that license plate, I say, "Oh, why, Lord?"
If only I could go back. Yeah.
And this guy's probably a dope, But
can I just tell you,
nobody's a dope. We love all the people. They're all made in God's image.
But this is like confession hour for a second.
You lost it all.
Well, in college, again, before Christ. All right,
this BC, everybody. Yep.
All of our friends were using Bitcoin to pay for their fake IDs.
Oh, black market.
And now I'm like, if
Dark
I
web.
just held on to that Bitcoin, I'd be like
rolling
a bajillionaire. Or they were, they would go through Western Union, do all these weird transactions. And I had someone else do it for me. If I'm so honest, I'm a broken sinner, and I'm so sorry that I did that before it was legal. Again, I told you.
Yep.
It was a confession. But
okay, so I had a fake ID as a Christian. So we'll work that out at a later episode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was the heaviest thing on my conscience.
Really?
And
see, this is when I was like, I knew who God was, but I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Thing. And now I'm like,
because also just family systems, like, lying was the thing that you don't do in the family system. So it was like Christian.
My identity's a lie.
We'll come back to this. Yep.
But yeah, I had friends who paid for Bitcoin or paid for like engagement rings and houses with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Insane. And then at my old job, I got put on the cryptocurrency. It felt like a slap in the face because I'd known that I also missed the boat.
Oh, yeah.
They put me on this team where I had to work with a bunch of cryptocurrency businesses, and I felt like I was being laughed at because I didn't have any cryptocurrency.
And that is
I was the expert in it.
I mean, really, the reason why I bring that up is that this is what makes you look at the whole thing and be like, Lord, what is going on? Because the people who are now millionaires from Bitcoin, I'm not going to cast a pall, but they are all awful people. No, but in general, it's like, wait, the losers are winning. Like the bad people, the wicked are winning, and the whole Bible says that doesn't happen. That God frustrates the ways of the wicked and stuff, and so. People that were involved in fake IDs and other much worse stuff on the dark web, and they had 100 Bitcoin floating around to do terrible things with.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, boom, they're like millionaires. Say, Lord, what is going on? So how is my life so far behind someone else's life, and it doesn't make any sense that they are getting wealthy and happy, and here I am. Miserably righteous. And
that goes back to our last episode with doubts. And someone in my Bible study said that one of their doubts was that following God meant not getting to achieve or accomplish goals or experience the goodness or the finer things in life.
Right. So we probably can't let that sit, right?
it's just interesting. Because, there's this woman in my life who is back home in Tennessee who's experienced more loss and suffering than any person I know. And she really struggles with if there's a God. Yeah. Because, why? I mean, she has every partner that she's had has passed away.
Wow.
From crazy causes. Or she went through an affair. And her husband had an affair and then died from complications of COVID. And then
wave after wave.
Yeah, her mom was murdered.
Oh my goodness.
It's just, she's had loss after loss after loss. And now the partner in her life has a horrible liver issue. And she's just terrified of being alone. And it's like, where is God in this situation?
Is God the great subtractor, the great taker awayer?
Yeah, and she's like, why is everyone else blessed with like a loving family? And I just keep getting struck down and there's no end in sight. It's like she's almost scared to get close to people because she thinks they'll die.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's the same thing. Everyone's doing great except me, except for her. Like, everyone is really doing great except for her. Like, I don't even know how to console, something like that because...
And you can't enter into someone else's suffering and really understand it.
But I wish I could.
But you wish you could. And what you can do is commit to being near them, with them, for them. And just letting them express what it's like to be in the position that they're in. And what is amazing is believers that you meet in their suffering and in their tragedy and in their just their repeated tragic events, and they know a nearness to the Lord that you don't know. And I'm not saying that to sort of make sense of it either. Like this tragedy and suffering and horrible things, horrible diseases, they're all part, to sort of make sense of it, they're all part of this twisting and perversion of the world that's called sin that has just spun everything out of control to where it's like a wiring system in your house that you have no idea what wire connects to something else, and you touch it and you shock yourself when you thought you were just turning on the bathroom light. And that's how the world is.
That happened to you recently? It came too quick. That example came a little too quick.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
But you can't totally make sense. You'll never sort of say, oh, that makes perfect sense because it made you better in this way. What a horrible thing to sort of say to somebody. But when you sit with them and walk with them and love them through it, and help them to see their blessings, then it's amazing to see where God is adding strength to them in the middle of the tragedy.
Yeah.
And a strength sometimes and a joy sometimes that you can't even touch. You're not even close to that. And you're more comfortable, more less tragic story.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. But I think if to put a bow on it, I think, we're all stuck in this comparison trap where it always looks like somebody's doing better than we are, and we don't understand why are they just taking off. In my industry, my career, if you want to call it like an industry, you see preachers, pastors, leaders who are all of a sudden like these famous bright lights, and to be honest, they're saying like the same things that all the rest of us say. It's like they're not totally like, wow,
that's hilarious.
There's like we're all saying the same stuff, and you're just like, well, I would like to be totally, famous, and you know what I mean. But that's not. But so you just look at each other and you're like, why is that person? And to pivot your heart from what you don't have and regret or sadness about what you don't have to gratitude for what you do have is like the main primary pivot. Mm-hmm. That keeps you from the comparison trap that poisons your joy to a gratitude rhythm that increases your joy. Where you see, this is what I have, and it's really good. I remember when I wrote a book 10 years ago, and there was a moment that a woman named Ann Voskamp, who was a very famous influencer, she had my book. She put on her Instagram a picture of my book, and that she was reading my book, and she was excited about my book. And I thought, well, here we go. Like, this is going to happen.
I'm famous.
I'm going to be famous now. And it did not happen. It did not happen at all. And like the publisher is still calling me like, you owe us money for this book. No, not really, but like it never sold enough, to even cover its own costs of printing. And and then you watch other people who get launched, and you're like, what happened? And I remember talking to my best friend, Walter. I said, Walter, I just want to I wish I was one of those pastors who was out there on the circuit in the conferences, encouraging people. I want to encourage the growth of ministry, belief in Christ, faith in the Lord. Why wouldn't the Lord do this? Why? I wish I was out there doing that. And he said to me, I don't. Mm. I was like, Walter, you're my friend.
How could you say that?
How can you say that? I'm telling you, I want it. And he's like, I don't want that for you. And he started listening to me like, you've got 4 kids at home. You've got, Abigail. You've got your ministry with your church. It's going really well. I do not wish that for you at all. And I'm not going to agree to pray for God to do that in your life. I was like, but that was a really helpful conversation because it pivoted me back to, okay, where has the Lord put me? And what has the Lord given me? And what am I grateful for in my life? And what joys do I have from the gifts from where the Lord has put the lines in my own life?
Mm-hmm. That is beautiful. Because it's always easier said than done. People are like, oh,
it is.
Have an attitude of gratitude. That'll fix everything.
Right.
And so sometimes when people say that, it's just like, I'm trying to be thankful, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to be thankful when it feels like there's just a big dark cloud over you.
Yep.
But it's true if you really
I would be thankful if God would give me what I want.
It's like, if you really do accept, like, oh, maybe I'm in this season of singleness, for example, to grow. And I have seen the fruit of that in a pretty beautiful way. I had a friend come up to me and be like, you're more yourself than I've seen you be in years. And it's like really refreshing.
Wow.
And I don't know. I know that there's blessings that are coming out of it, but being grateful for like where I am has changed my mindset in a lot of different ways. But when other people tell me to be grateful, then reverts me back to like humbug. Like, I'm just angry. Like, how dare you tell me to be grateful? You don't know what it's like to be me or to experience the hardships that I've experienced. But when I do it myself, I'm like, oh yeah, that actually is good advice. Why is it so hard to take?
Right. Right.
So anyway, like, when comparison spikes, who should we reach out to? Is there an action step there other than just humbling yourself and being like, well, I don't know if when you were growing up, your mom ever said this to me, like mine did. It's like, there's starving kids in Africa. And I was like, what does that have to do with
What does it have to do with me and how I want
I was like 5. I didn't know.
I want some new Jordans or something.
Yeah, and I understand that now. I understand what she's trying to communicate. Delivery wasn't the best. And but it's like, is there really an action step other than just encouraging one another to live in the moment and find the little beautiful things?
So this makes me think of one of the wrinkles that keeps coming up for me for years in the Christian life is the question of ambition. And what is, like, because John Calvin did a whole thing. This is a long time ago now. John Calvin, 1500s, but he did a whole thing about how accepting the station where God has put you in life is the key to contentment and peace. And so if you've been put in this station of life, like a lower rung of sort of, I don't know, service industry, if you've been put in nobility, if you've been put in royalty, if you like, you should not be like jumping. You should not be thinking, oh, why am I this when someone else is that? Because it's only going to eat away at your soul. And so he was pushing hard on, like, God put you in your station in life for a good reason for you and for your soul, for fruitfulness for the kingdom. A. B, you don't know what the afterlife is like. We're all headed to an eternal kingdom where things are going to be all rejiggered because, God's got different plans for us there than here. But that sort of desire to move up the ladder is just going to irritate you, and it's just going to make you frustrated. But I'm American,
Boy, howdy.
I'm American. Like, we don't settle for that.
No,
it's like, if you work hard, you go for it, you're going to change your station in life, right?
It's all about the hustle.
Like, you don't just stay in mediocrity and obscurity and just be like, oh, I'm totally fine. No, you push, right? And aren't you supposed to do your best for the Lord and be ambitious for God? And so this question of ambition always comes up. Sometimes I say something in a sermon about being content, and I've got a buddy, a really good friend, and he's a business leader here in town, and he'll hit me up. He's like, oh, so you're telling me not to try hard? You're telling me not to push the business forward? Okay, hear you loud and clear, Pastor. I guess I'll just shut it down, and all the 50 people that work for me can go live in the streets. And
my goodness.
Right? Dude, I don't know. It's hard to figure that out.
Yeah, the lines are blurry.
Because, comparison can be a poison. And not being content with your station or not being content with your place can really eat your soul. Calvin's right. But at the same time, God might call you to use your gifts to the best of your ability with passion and zeal, and to try to make the most impact that you can make for Him. And so balancing those things is not easy. It's really tough.
Yeah.
But I think but at the root of that is this idea of, Lord, where have you put me? What gifts have you given me? What can I be grateful for today? And that is a practice. That is a spiritual discipline. It is a discipline to exercise gratitude. You call it exercising gratitude, a sacrifice of praise, because you decide, I am going to give thanks. I am going to be grateful for the place I'm in, the role that God's given me, the station that I'm in, the things that I have, the family, the friends that I have, and I am going to be grateful for it. And when you do that, that resonates in your soul. And then there's this check of character, right? One of the major checks of character, it's a check of our humility. Can you celebrate someone else's success without reflecting on your own lack or need or desires?
Yeah.
Like, can you really go into the room, say, man, okay, and you're thinking in your head, you wrote a book that is basically the content of like a talk I used to give to middle schoolers when I was a youth pastor, and you're famous and rich. And how am I doing? How am I doing? Am I doing all right? That's how that's the dialogue that's going on in the back of your brain.
Yeah.
But can you genuinely be like, man, I celebrate for you, man, because God is using you to do really, really good things with his message. The gospel's getting out, and I'm glad that he's got you in a place where you can promote this message widely. And how can I pray for and support you? Yeah. And that's a check of character. It's a check of character that regularly we say, that regularly we fail at. Can I genuinely celebrate the success of a colleague without reflecting on my own lack and desires? Yeah. And when you can, you're like, thank you, Lord, because that's peace.
Oh, that's a beautiful word. I think that's a great place to end. Well, let's close with the challenge, maybe an experiment. I know we've talked about maybe going on like a social media cleanse in the past, doing something like that. Like if you feel like you start to get into that comparison mindset from scrolling, maybe mute that account. Maybe
the algorithms feed off of comparison poison.
Put your phone away for a little bit. Take a 10-minute walk. Pray prayers of gratitude and tell a friend. Have an accountability partner in that, and tell a friend what you're doing and talk to them about how it went after you do it. So
I mentioned Ann Voskamp. She wrote a book years ago called 1,000 Gifts, and what she challenged herself with, and this was not a whimsical challenge. She was coming out of a place of deep depression, deep despair, and what she challenged her with was literally writing down 1,000 things to be grateful for. And so sometimes it takes that kind of exercise, like not just, I'll be grateful, but like saying, today I can lift 5 pounds so that tomorrow I can lift 10 pounds. Today I can write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. Maybe next week I can write down 10 things that I'm grateful for. And forcing yourself to grow that muscle, that's what I would recommend that. Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. You got this. If you have any questions or topics that you want us to address, feel free to email us. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in the coming weeks.